Of course, the big story still being considered is Nigeria's foreign trade statistics released late yesterday evening by the Bureau of Statistics. Second quarter 2018 had the first fall in imports since the first quarter of 2018. Nigeria's exports actually also declined to 4.46 trillion naira. This is the first fall in exports since the first quarter of 2016. That's the worrying part of the story. We have our imports declining and our exports also declining. It shows that the economy is struggling. If your import is falling, then you've got to grow your exports. If your export is falling, then you're not making money. It's as simple as that. Temitope Olugbile is one of the economists and research analysts at Financial Derivatives Company, and she's putting that as part of the team's commodities market update for this Thursday. Good morning. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so this number came in yesterday. What's the thinking at FDC?
Okay, so yes, like you rightly said, the numbers came in last night, and we saw that our trade, we're still in a trade surplus of about $6.5 billion, and that's increased from what we had in Q1. But like you said, our exports fell, our import value also fell. But the more worrying thing, I believe, is our continuous dependence on oil. So we have that oil exports still account for about 80% of total exports. And so even beyond the value of the exports, what are we exporting? So agric was only accounted for only 1% of total exports. So it shows that we still have a long way to go in our diversification plan. And with things like electric cars, the future of technology being things like electric cars, we have that it's time, and it increases the pressure for us to get our diversification strategy right.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's what everybody's saying. It looks like with the way exports is falling, it shows that we're not industrial. We don't have enough industrialization backbone to meet what the global energy future is all about. Definitely. But this is part of the burning economic issues. Yes. What else is making the headlines? Okay,
so other headlines is our external reserves, which is nothing new. It's still declining. We're at about $45 billion now. Naira depreciated at the IEFX window to 3, so now it's trading at 363 naira per dollar. That again is new, but it's also nothing new. It's just showing just showing exactly pressure. So it's just showing that investors are demanding for more dollars, and
they're demanding and they're taking their money out of this market. Yes, so that's Naira is facing that pressure. We've seen very steady demand. Yesterday, almost $200 million again went through the IME window.
Yeah, exactly. So of course that will put pressure on the Naira at that window, and again, it's nothing new. So we also have that on-grid power is up 6%. Brent is down 0.09%. Those are all volatile things, down today, up tomorrow. So, and then we have the retail diesel prices flat at 225 naira per liter.
But if you flip that to what is good and what is not so good, where we have a bit of more not so palatable than what is good news.
Definitely. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we definitely are leaning more to the bad news side. A decline in external reserves, it reduces the CBN's ability to defend the Naira. The Naira on its own is under a lot of pressure, depreciating to 363 Naira at the IFX window. Decline in Brent price is also negative for fiscal and dollar revenue. Our exports are falling, imports are falling.
Okay, and let's talk about something perhaps we could do as far as one of our major agri-products is concerned, which is natural honey. Will you please pass me the honey? Yes, I will. It's a breakfast table. So just pass me the honey. So folks are looking at less sugar, more honey, but this is a very big market, $3 billion and counting in global trade, and we're just scratching the surface even in terms of our output domestically.
Our production is just a mere 2% of global production, and on the other side we have a demand of about 400,000 tons, and that means we're producing only 40,000 tons, so our demand gap is about 360,000 tons, but we have the potential to produce 200,000 tons. So that means if we live up to our potential, we would only be importing like 160,000 tons of honey. So we have to do more. Like I said before, it's time now to diversify our economy. We have so many products we have comparative advantage in. We need to look into this and take advantage.
Look at the states where we are major producing states in Nigeria: Adamawa, Nasarawa, Kaduna.
Exactly.
I'm sure there are some production levels in Kwara, Kogi State as well, in a number of states around the Mid-Belt and the Southwest.
Yes, so, and also some of these states like Kaduna and some of these up north states are going through some security challenges, so that has to be addressed if we want to increase our production. Also, the thing we need to note is the beehive sector, or subsector, if you will, is, I think people think that it's only bees, we can only extract honey from it, but there's so many other products that can be gotten from bees. We have wax, and that is also, these are things that we could also look into and not just limit ourselves to honey.
I'm not too sure if we do bee farming in a real sense, beyond the one in the wild, which you collect from the farm. I see on TV where you have a very, you can just actually do a bee farming, and it's good business.
Exactly, it is good business, and it's something that, because, like you said, because sugar is already facing reduced demand, so because
of health issues,
people are being more health conscious, so they would most likely come to alternatives and substitutes like honey. So if that happens, that means price would increase, global price would increase, and so that is definitely something we should start tapping into now and boost our exports, which we've seen is clearly struggling. So we need to tap into things like this.
Yeah, we need to bring more people into this, because we're the 40,000 out of a demand of 400, which is a demand gap of close to 400,000 tons. The rest we're using petrol money to import honey.
Exactly. So, and we also need to go beyond the domestic use of honey, because we all use it domestically for things like a sweetener, alternatives for sugar. It's used for, if you have a burn, you can use that to ease the pain. Exactly, there are health purposes to this. But there are also some industries that use it. So users like Cadbury and Nestle use it. So it's also beyond the domestic. We should look into the industry, and that is what will really fetch us good earnings and good revenue.
And then grow our trade.
Definitely, because we need to grow that.
Temitope, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Temitope Olugbile, one of the team at Financial Derivatives Company.